Yeah. So I'm very high on him, right? I'm very high. I think he's a world-class talent. I think going forward, he's one of the best right-backs in the world, one of the best full-backs in the world going forward. Defensively as well, he's more than capable of holding his own. So I rate him highly. I rate him highly. And he was one of the players that I thought didn't get a fair chance under Frank Lampard in his first run. So obviously, when Chelsea got the transfer ban and Lampard came in, it was Abraham, it was Mount, it was Tomori. These were the guys that were really getting a look in. Reece James did, and then was faded out, and then was brought back in and was faded out. And then he officially got his proper start probably under Tuchel, playing as our right wing back. And he was, without question, world class. Like at the start of Tuchel's last year, so at the start of last season. Yeah, fuck, that was last season. That's insane. At the start of last season, where Chelsea are beating Juventus 4-0 at Stamford Bridge, it's insane, right? It's insane. Like, Reece James is world-class footballer, and he's banging them in from out like just on the box and whacking a bottom corner. And he was the centerpiece of what was an electrifying Chelsea team that started last season so well. Last season? No, the year before. Started the year before so well, I should say. But he was... So the year before last, yeah. He was so good. And is so good. But this blight on him is his injury record. And as the saying goes, the best ability is availability. And when we look at his injury history, he obviously came off with another hamstring issue in the game against Everton. And we look at his injury history. These are the injuries that he's had since he's been a proper member of the Chelsea team. He had an ankle injury. In 2020, 2021, he had an ankle injury and missed 4 games, and then he had a hamstring strain, which he missed 5 games. There's 9 games of the season he missed. In 21-22, he had a hamstring injury, which put him out for 11 games, a fitness issue, which put him out for 2, a muscle injury, which put him out for 5, another hamstring injury, which put him out for 2. At the start of the last season, he had a knee injury, which put him out for 9. He had another knee injury, which put him out for 7. He had a hamstring injury, which put him out for a game. He was ill, which put him out for a game. And then at the end of last season, he had a hamstring injury, which put him out for 7 games. At the start of this season, he comes back, plays a game, gets another hamstring injury, and he misses 9 games. Comes back on the weekend and gets another injury. So, like, I just don't, like, it's so frustrating. And he's... I don't want to say he's falling into a trap of... him being like a Jack Wilshere type, right? Because I think he's... I was going to say I think he's not, but, I mean, is there any proof into proving that he isn't? Like, world-class footballer that just cannot stay fit. And maybe there's a difference with Reece than with other players, because when Reece James plays, he's not just good, like he's the best player at Chelsea, hands down, when he's fit. And he's obviously the captain, and he's so unbelievably influential off that right-hand side, playing as this wing-back, as this like right-back, advanced right-back, playing up as a wing-back, can even float into midfield as well at times. He's just so influential and he's so good. So you kind of have to look at him and appreciate his talents and appreciate his ability and sit back and think, okay, he's world-class. He's a world-class talent. But can you compare him to someone like Kyle Walker, who potentially isn't as good of a player, isn't as influential of a player? Kyle Walker's still excellent, by the way. But Kyle Walker can stay fit for 30 plus games a season and can play like for 30 plus games in the Ligue a season and can play like 40 games a year, 43 games a year, 45 games a year. Whereas Reece James, when was the last time Reece James hasn't had a completely injury-free season since 2020. And even then, it's because he wasn't really playing. So as soon as he started to play a lot more, as soon as he started to have the, I wouldn't say burden of responsibility, because I don't think it's a burden, but as soon as he's had the responsibility of playing, of being this key player for Chelsea, his body just hasn't been up to standard. Which is such a shame, because he's my favourite player at Chelsea, and I think he's the best player that we've got. And fully fit, he's one of the best fullbacks in the world. And he's a generational talent when he's fully fit. Like if he didn't have his injury problems, and if he had 3 full years, obviously 4 years is obviously a little bit wishful thinking, of course. But if he had 3 years where he was playing really consistent football, playing like 33 games in the Liga season, and was playing at a high level, he would be probably the best fullback in the world. But because he's just showed glimpses, and because he hasn't put it all together over a long and serious, consistent period of time. He just hasn't. You can't call him that. You can't call him that, which is a shame because I think he's world class, like I said. So I don't know how you speak on Reece. Like I don't know how you can analyze him. Do you sit back and speak about him like Reece James is a world class footballer. Reece James is a world class footballer and has shown time and time again that going forward he's one of the best in the world. Defensively, he can more than hold his own, and he's so influential in this Chelsea team. He's the captain. He's the best player. So his talents are undeniable, but his lack of consistent game time due to injury has kind of mitigated his status as one of the best fullbacks in the world because despite his ability, despite his talents, he doesn't do it. He does it for 3 games and then misses 12. He does it for 5 games and then misses 9. You can't do that and claim to be the best player in a position or one of the best players in the league or whatever. But we've seen that at fully fit he can be. So that's where the frustration lies. It's like he isn't like people don't speak about him as one of the best fullbacks in the world, not because he isn't good, it's because of his injury record, which at the end of the day, it's not his fault by any means because he doesn't want to be injured. So, like, I don't know. It was just one of those things which I was thinking about, obviously. It's just one of those things which I was thinking about, obviously, in the fallout of the game against Everton where he came off. And I was like, fuck, again? Like, does it get to the point where Chelsea just say, fuck this and cut our losses? I don't know. Because at what point does it harm the squad? At what point does Reece James being in the squad and being an important and a crucial member of the team, at what point does that end up becoming a burden instead of a kind of... Yeah, at what point does it become a burden instead of an asset? That's the word I was looking for. At what point does Reece James become a burden more than an asset? Because he's got ungodly amounts of talent and he's got really good leadership abilities. But if he's not fit and he doesn't play and people are still looking at him like, we'll be good once Reece James comes back, and then he comes back and I'm like, oh my God, we're really good, and then he gets injured for 3 months. It's like, fucking hell. So, I don't know. I don't think we should... I don't want Chelsea to sell Reece James, but if Chelsea do sell Reece James, I would not be surprised. And if anything, I would look at it as a new opportunity rather than an opportunity lost, if that makes sense. Because, yes, he's really good. Yes, he's the best player we've got. But if he doesn't play, he's going to slowly become a burden more than a asset. And that hurts because I think he's unbelievable. But I think that's just the reality of the situation, in my opinion. So, yeah. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see whether or not, when he comes back, if he does come back, whether or not he can perform at the same level, how long he's going to be out for, because I don't know if it was the same hamstring, if it was the same leg, but the fact that it's soft tissue injuries as well. Like, it's not like he's gone out with, like, contact injuries, which is just bad luck. It's soft tissues, which you're just predisposed to it, I guess. Just one of those very unfortunate things. But yeah, enough about Reece.